This is Right Around Australia, the story of Nevill Westwood and his Citroën Bubsie on Faith FM. In 2025, the incredible journey will be reenacting another incredible journey undertaken 100 years earlier by young Nevill Westwood, who accidentally achieved the record of being the first person to drive right around Australia. Here is part 2 of his exciting story. The year is 1925. With money he earned from his book sales, Nevill decided to make his travels a little easier for himself and scouted around for a motorcycle. After much research, he finally settled on an AJS. These bikes had a reputation for reliability, power, speed, economy, lightness, and simplicity, all qualities which Nevill hoped would help him on his travels. The AJS company probably had no idea their little machine would eventually cover 10,000 kilometers. A similar 1924 model is on display at the National Motorcycle Museum at Nevill, New South Wales. The Right Around Australia journey will pass through Nevill when en route from Forster Tuncurry to Singleton on 30th September 2025. AJS also had an interesting history. Joe Stevens, an engineer in England, had 4 sons, and he and his boys owned the Stevens Screw Company in Wolverhampton. The 4 brothers, Harry, George, Jack, and Joe, must have been serious revheads because it was their dream to one day manufacture quality motorcycles that could race and, of course, win at the famous Isle of Man TT races. They won their first trophy in 1909 on a modified motorcycle, and this spurred them on to produce their own machines. They named their company AJS after the 3rd brother, Albert John Stevens, because he was the only one with 2 first names. Nevill set off from Perth on his trusty motorcycle, but it was slow going as he puttered along the rough, dusty roads. Disaster struck at Hamlin Pool, which boasted a telegraph station built in 1884 and was an important link in the telegraph line between Perth and Roebourne. Hamlin Pool was also known as Flagpole Landing, as it was the landing spot for cargo ships bringing supplies to the outback stations. The wool was taken to the port by horse and cart from the stations and then transported by ship to Perth. Nevill would have watched the activity at the bustling landing spot with interest, but he was also very worried. He had run out of lubricating oil, and no one seemed to have any they could give him. Nevill had to have oil to keep the engine on his motorcycle running smoothly. Try using shearing machine oil, someone suggested, and as it was the only option available, Nevill had to use it. He was now running with a bird piston head and only 3 piston rings instead of 4. He no doubt arrived in Carnarvon in a lather of sweat and with blistered feet, grateful to be back in civilization once more. Pictures of him on his travels show him wearing a full suit and tie and patent leather shoes, hardly the best travel gear. The Right Around Australia team aims to visit Carnarvon from June 12th to 15th, 2025. Nevill made his way back to Perth, but his enthusiasm for the Lord's work had not waned, and he busily made preparations for another exciting and successful year in 1925. Stay tuned to Faith FM for the next installment of this series, Right Around Australia, the story of Nevill Westwood and his Citroën Bubsie. For more information about this program, visit the website of The Incredible Journey, online at tij.tv/RAA.